Hello! Welcome to English for Shared. Here, you learn English with a very interesting story. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Let's go!
Noah's Ark. The story of Noah's Ark is one of the most remarkable in the entire Bible. It is recorded in the book of Genesis and tells of a time when the world had completely turned away from God. Evil was so great that the earth was filled with violence and injustice. The Creator then decided to bring a great flood to cleanse the earth and give humanity a new beginning. But amidst so much corruption, there was a different man, Noah. He was righteous, obedient, and lived in communion with God. While everyone else followed their own paths, Noah chose to listen to and trust the Lord. It was because of this faith that God chose him for a magnificent mission to build an ark that would be the salvation of his family and all living creatures. The ark would not only be a shelter from destruction, but also a symbol of hope and a new beginning. Every detail of its construction revealed God's faithfulness and the importance of obedience. Even in the face of people's mockery and disbelief, Noah remained steadfast, obeying step by step what the Lord had commanded. This story isn't just about a boat and a flood. It's an invitation to reflect on faith, perseverance, and trust in God, even when everything around us seems to be going in the opposite direction. The narrative of Noah's Ark shows that for those who trust in the Lord, there will always be a rainbow after the storm. Chapter 1: The Corrupted World. Humanity had multiplied across the earth. But along with the growth of the population, evil also grew. People's hearts were turned only to violence, injustice, and selfish desires. Each day, new sins spread, and love for one's neighbor seemed to disappear. The earth, created to be a place of life and harmony, had become a landscape of hatred and destruction. God, upon contemplating this reality, was deeply saddened. The biblical account says that he saw that the wickedness of humankind had become so great that every thought of his heart was only evil continually. The Creator, who had made humankind to reflect his image, now saw humanity lost, directionless, and immersed in sin. Amid this dark landscape, one man shone like a flame of hope: Noah. He was righteous and blameless in his generation. While everyone else was living disorderly lives, he chose to walk with God. His life was different, and his faith made him special before the Lord. It was to this man that God revealed his plan. The Creator decided to end corruption through a great flood, but he would not leave the world without hope. Noah would be chosen to preserve life and begin a new story for humanity. This choice shows that even when all seems lost, God always protects those who trust in him. Noah's faithful heart became the key to the continuation of life on earth. Chapter 2. Building the Ark. God spoke directly to Noah and gave him detailed instructions. He was to build an ark of cypress wood with internal compartments, 3 stories high, and covered with pitch inside and out to keep out water. Its size would be gigantic, about 135 meters long, 22 meters wide, and 13 meters high. It was a veritable ship, capable of housing not only his family, but also pairs of all kinds of animals. To many, it seemed an impossible task, but Noah didn't question it. He simply obeyed. Day after day, he began to cut down trees, prepare the lumber, and erect that immense vessel. Each hammer blow was an act of faith, each nail driven a declaration of trust in the God who had spoken. As he worked, the people around him ridiculed him. They laughed, mocked, and called him crazy. After all, it had never rained like that on earth, and talk of a flood seemed insane. To society, Noah was wasting his life building something useless. But Noah was unmoved. He didn't look at the laughter or the criticism, but at God's words. With each day that the ark took shape, he felt more deeply that he was fulfilling a greater purpose. His faith was stronger than the world's unbelief. The ark was erected as a monument to obedience. For some, it was a source of mockery. For others, it could have been an opportunity for reflection. But only Noah and his family understood that the boat wasn't just wood. It was the promise of salvation. Chapter 3. Entry into the Ark. When the appointed time arrived, God gave Noah a new command. He was to enter the ark with his family. Furthermore, he was to receive the animals that would come to him. Pairs of every species on earth would enter to be preserved. It was an impressive and unique spectacle. From every corner came animals large and small: lions, elephants, giraffes, sheep, birds of every color, insects, reptiles. Each presented itself in pairs, male and female. It was as if creation itself recognized God's voice and obeyed the call. Noah's family also prepared. They stored enough food for the days of waiting inside the ark, ensuring everyone's survival. The environment inside, though teeming with animals, was an orderly space, sustained by divine order. Then something momentous happened. It wasn't Noah who closed the ark's door, but God himself. With his hands, he sealed the entrance, demonstrating that protection came not just from the wood, but from the Creator's presence guarding everything within. Outside, many still scoffed, unaware that the closed door meant the end of opportunity. God had given everyone time, but only Noah and his family had chosen faith. Chapter 4: The Flood. Soon the first drops began to fall. Perhaps at first it seemed just like ordinary rain, but quickly the sky opened and torrential waters poured down upon the earth. At the same time, deep springs burst forth, and water began to surge from all directions. The rain continued unabated. Day and night, the waters rose, covering valleys, cities, and mountains. Rivers overflowed, seas surged, and soon there was no dry land in sight. The world, once so teeming with life, was now nothing but a vast ocean. Those who laughed at Noah certainly sought shelter, tried to escape, but it was too late. The ark's door was closed, and no one could open it. The flood swept away everything outside God's protection. Inside the ark, however, there was peace. Despite the choppy waters, Noah, his family, and the animals were safe. The boat floated on the waves, sustained by God's promise. There was hope amidst destruction. For 40 days and 40 nights, the rain did not cease. But even in the midst of chaos, Noah knew that God was in control. The ark became a symbol of divine faithfulness. Those who trust in the Lord are never forsaken. Chapter 5: The New Beginning. After many months, the rain stopped and the waters began to recede. The ark finally came to rest on the mountains of Ararat. It was the sign that the time of waiting was coming to an end. Noah released a raven, which flew back and forth but didn't return. Then he released a dove, which also couldn't find a landing and returned. Days later, he released the dove again, and this time it brought a green olive branch in its beak. It was proof that life had been reborn outside the ark. Finally, God commanded Noah, his family, and all the animals to leave. The world was clean, ready for a new beginning. Upon leaving, Noah built an altar and offered sacrifices of thanksgiving to the Lord. His first act after leaving the ark was to worship the one who had preserved their lives. It was then that God made a covenant with Noah and all humanity. He promised that he would never again destroy the earth with a flood. As an eternal sign of this covenant, he placed the rainbow in the sky, a symbol of his faithfulness and mercy. The rainbow wasn't just a natural phenomenon. It was a reminder that even after the most devastating storm, there is always hope for a new beginning for those who trust in the Lord. Chapter 6: The Message of the Ark. The story of Noah's Ark is a powerful testament to faith, obedience, and hope. It shows us that even when the world seems lost, God always has a plan of salvation for those who seek Him. Noah believed God's word when no one else did. He persevered in the face of criticism, built the ark, and saw his faith rewarded. His example resonates to this day. Trusting in God may seem difficult, but it is always the path to life. The rainbow in the sky continues to be a reminder that the Lord is faithful to his promises. He does not forget those who trust in him. Like Noah, we are called to choose faith in the midst of unbelief, obedience in the midst of chaos, and hope in the midst of storms. Because in the end, there will always be a rainbow for those who trust in God's faithfulness.